Hey everybody, Andy Stickel here. At my company, we just had an internal meeting today. We were talking about what are the best ways that we can make our websites and our clients' websites as useful as possible. And one of the things that really gets underlooked or overlooked, I should say, with web design and search engine optimization and all that kind of stuff is the actual user experience. You can have your page perfect in terms of inbound links and SEO and all that kind of stuff. But at the end of the day, one of the things that Google is really looking for is searcher satisfaction. So when someone goes to your website, do they find all the information? Do all their questions get answered? Is the content, is the page, is the content easy to digest? Is it easy for them to read? All that kind of stuff. So one of the big things that you can kind of look at is, and I think this gets overlooked quite often, is trying to figure out what are people actually looking for. And one thing that we found is that if you can make content that's extremely useful and actually answers the questions that people are looking for, then you're going to do better, because Google has gotten smart enough that they know that if someone, let's say someone searches DUI penalties and they go to the first result and then they click the back button and then they go to the second result and they click back button and then they go to the third result and they stay on that page for a long time and before coming back, or they come back or they don't even come back, then Google kind of is going to think, okay, well, that third result is probably a better result for the searchers. So they're going to bump that one up. So that's why user experience is really important. So I'm going to show you something. This is how you can kind of do that, even with just something simple like DUI. I want to show you how you can figure out exactly what people are searching for. So check this out. Let me switch here. Okay, so I'm at Google right now. And what I'm going to do, and you can do this with anything, but I'm just going to kind of show you DUI. So I'm going to search DUI. So what's really cool, what a lot of people don't realize, is at the bottom, and you can ignore this stuff. This is stuff that you probably don't have. If you scroll to the bottom, you're going to see searches related to DUI, and you can click on these. So the two main things that are showing up here are DUI consequences and DUI penalties. So let's look at DUI consequences, and let's also look at DUI penalties. So that does another search, DUI consequences, and you can see, first of all, you can see right here, what is the punishment for first-time DUI? What's the punishment for second DUI? What is the punishment for a DUI? What is the penalty for drunk driving first offense? Then down at the bottom here, we've got more stuff. DUI consequences, California. First DUI consequences, DUI consequences. So you're starting to see a pattern here, and this would probably be a really good topic. Here's the other thing, DUI penalties. What's the punishment for second DUI? What's the punishment for first DUI? Now you see these are questions, but they're asked in a different, no, sorry, they're not. So you come down here, DUI penalties by state. For a second conviction of DUI, what is the penalty? For a third conviction of DUI, what is the penalty? Fifth DUI. So what you can kind of start doing is you can kind of start going through here and you can start looking and figuring out what people are searching for. And you can kind of start to identify content that you can create that would be very, very useful for the searcher. So if you kind of take all this and you look at all this content, you can do this with anything. So you could do like DUI first offense. Now let's say you do something even different, like DUI breathalyzer test, and see what people are looking for. How long does it take to pass a breathalyzer? What happens if someone refuses a breathalyzer? What is a DUI refusal charge? What is a normal breathalyzer reading? All these different things. So if you just kind of go through here and just type these keywords, you can start seeing what people are actually searching for. These aren't things that Google is making up. This is stuff that people is actually searching for. So if you can start, if you say you're going to do a page about DUI breathalyzers, before you write anything, you should go and check the searches related down here and see what people are actually searching for, and then answer those questions. So if you think about that, if you think about making your content as useful as possible and making sure that when someone goes to your page, they're going to get all their questions answered. If you sit down and you think about what are all the questions that someone who has a DUI that's related to this topic, what would be the most useful information to them? If you can answer those questions, then you're just naturally going to rank higher, because people are going to find your website and Google is going to rank you higher because they're seeing that people are having a better user experience. So if you have any questions about that, let me know, and I will talk to you guys soon. Thanks.